Good morning. Welcome to Miss Paula's place. And as you can see, I will not be reading it in my place today at my home. I am in a woods close to where I live, and there's a little road that goes behind it, and you will hear traffic now and then. But try to close your eyes and just listen to the sounds that you would hear in a forest. Some of the crickets are here, the leaves are rustling from little critters, and the trees, lots and lots of trees. And the reason why I am here today is to read a book called The First Forest. Yes, it's one of my favorite books, and it is by an author named John Guile, and it is illustrated by a gentleman called Tom Heflin. And I love this book. And I was thinking the other day, riding on the bike path, there were some leaves scattering the path, and some of them had just a little bit of color in them, which means that we are going to be changing seasons pretty soon, and we'll be moving into autumn, or some people call it fall. And the leaves will turn magnificent colors, and some of them will not. Some of them will stay green, some of the pine trees and shrubs. But this story today isn't necessarily just about a tree growing in a woods. It has a little bit of meaning to it, and it's talking about maybe being a little greedy and selfish. And the illustrator has used a character called the tree maker, and it reminds me of the God of creation. So let's go on this journey together. Let's go into the first forest. If you wonder in winter, when you walk in the snow, why some trees stand naked while some are cold and the north winds blow. Ooh, what season is that? It's winter. It's not next, but it will be coming. Come with me to visit a woodland where the first trees were made long, long ago. Oh, to get there, just place your hands over your eyes and imagine a tree, any shape, any size. A muscular monster in leafy disguise, or a short, chubby shrub with a prickly surprise. Then imagine another and do it again. Keep imagining trees just as fast as you can. Oh, before long you'll arrive, if you follow my plan, in the first forest where all tree making began. There's the tree maker. The tree maker made the first trees with great care. With their roots in the ground and their limbs in the air, he gave them strong trunks and green clothes to wear, and he made certain that all that they needed was there. The water and the sunlight. He let each tree choose what it would become. A spruce or a maple, a pine or a plum. There were hundreds of choices they could pick from, and each choice was sure to be pleasing to some. See, a maple leaf and pine cone means there's a pine tree back there, a spruce maybe, and some berries. The tree maker saw that his forest was good and was pleased as his trees shared their new brotherhood. Coming together, almost like holding their hands or holding their branches together. He helped each tree learn how to grow as it should, changing water and sunlight and soil into wood. Each day in the forest was happy and peaceful, as each day, each tree grew more stately and graceful. Wow, look at that. Look at how tall and beautiful each one is. I love this illustrator. Till one sad day, greed, all spiteful and hateful, created a scene nothing short of disgraceful. If the sun makes me grow, some heard one tree say, I'll be the biggest and best if I catch every sun ray. So he stretched out his limbs and shoved others away, and the peace of the forest was ended that day. Soon, other trees followed. That trees lead like sheep. They pushed and they shoved, making wounds that went deep. Broken limbs and dead leaves were knocked off in a heap. It was so sad, it made the willow tree weep. That is one of my favorite trees, by the way. When the tree maker came to his forest that night, his beautiful trees were an ugly sight. I wonder how that made him feel. He created them individual and beautiful, and they each had their own special characteristics. Yes, they were twisted and bare and shaking with fright, except for a few that stayed out of the fight. Oh, the sight of the mess made the tree makers mad. But the plight of his trees made the tree maker sad. His heart broke in two. He felt so bad when he thought of the beauty his trees once had. Makes me a little sad. How about you? Slowly, he started to clean up the mess that had changed his woods into a wilderness. He chased away greed and selfishness, and he bound up each wound with tenderness. Sounds a little bit like maybe the God of creation. What do you think? Then the tree maker did what was hardest of all. Broken-hearted, he looked at the trees who took part in the brawl. He ruled that the selfish ones, big and small, would lose every leaf from their limbs every fall. He rewarded the trees that stayed calm and serene, while others were being selfish and mean. With promise that they would remain evergreen through summer and winter and seasons between. What kind of trees are those? They're pine trees. Deciduous trees is the science term. Maybe the kind that we have for Christmas trees. But if you notice, they have their needles all year long. So that's why in the winter, when you walk in the snow, some trees stand stark, naked, while cold north winds blow. They look cold, don't they? But each spring, the tree maker lets his love show when he gives back their beauty and makes new leaves grow. Isn't that beautiful, the promise there? You know, I really like this book. It kind of has a little humor to it about why the leaves fall in the season of fall, in autumn, and why they're cold and just branches to the other ones. But you know, my friends, some of this story is kind of like us. Sometimes we're not as generous and sharing as we should be. And we're a little selfish, like the tree who wanted to get more and more and more of those rays of sun so he could grow bigger and taller than any of the other trees. But that takes away from the peace. And so the harmony flows from an attitude of gratefulness and respect and letting others share in those gifts too. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you find a place that you can walk outside in a forest or out by the tree and think about the tree maker and the first forest. Thanks for listening today. You guys are great listeners. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you next week at Ms. Paula's place. Adios.